Welcome back, and Jonathan's joining me. We'll see if Tim joins us later as well, and there's a lot going on, a lot to catch you up on. We've got a huge amount of intel on Norway, Poland and Ireland, and there's been an awful lot going on in the rest of the world as well. So we could start by going through the intel, because we've made a bit of a discovery and we've got some interesting chats back and forth as well. Going to have to work out what all this builds up as a picture too. So we'll go on the intel. Poland, they're at war with 8 people now, and so they're going to have morale problems. But I don't know if you've seen it, Jonathan, but they've got like 9,000 components, 27,000 fuel, 13,000 electronics, $200,000, which is incredible. And they're researching missiles as well as boats and main battle tanks and things. So let's talk about that. So I think that he's had his home city sabotaged, because if you look at Krakow, his army base level 3 is damaged 13 out of 15. And then if you look at Wrocław, his naval base is 11 out of 15 damaged, and it's been like that all day. So it's not like he's building. And his arms industry level 5 on Krakow is 28 out of 30. And I heard some patter in more intel between Norway and UK saying that they are using agents, or that one of them has lost communication or something. So I think that Norway and Ireland are sabotaging Poland's home cities, and so I've told him that, and that he needs to defend himself. But part of me is a bit paranoid that actually they're just going to all gang together now, because we've lost France, we've lost Ukraine pretty much, and it's there's 3 very strong players there now, and that's a very, very strong alliance. And then if we have a look at the rest of the intel, you can see what I can see, can't you, Jonathan?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm looking for another bit of information that I saw before. I can't see it now. I'm pretty sure Poland requested a right-of-way from somebody, and it didn't specify who.
Oh.
And that was declined. And my guess that would be either with Yugoslavia, this may have been from a couple of days ago, or Norway.
Okay.
So kind of them sabotaging Poland cities and the right-of-way being contested. I think it's more likely that they are going to go to war with one another. Okay.
Well, if we have a look at Ireland, they're also researching missiles, and they're at war with 2 nations. They're very neutral, but there's some very strange stats coming out of Norway. They've got like 7 supplies, 7 components, 28 manpower, 18 rare materials. Is a very, very low number. So I'm wondering if they're gold player and they're topping up to the exact amount of resources they need to then build something, and they're doing max builds. They've got 18 missiles, 3 of which are 3 chemicals. They've got 0 money. They've got some very strange resource stats. What do you make of that?
Oh, I haven't really considered that yet. It's probably not a good idea to read into the whole gold situation, but just the fact he's got some high level strikes and a lot of missiles does concern me a little bit. I believe the strikes he has, they can fire a missile each.
Okay.
But we don't know that he's researched cruise missiles yet. More concerning would be ballistic submarines, which can launch missiles a lot further. But again, we haven't seen any evidence of that. It's quite common for players to start investing down some kind of nuclear tree and not really fulfill it all the way. And you've got to remember, it takes a lot of resources to research that. So you'll probably be behind on some other kind of unit. But we haven't seen all of the different units he has yet.
No, well, I've seen that he's got a naval officer. We've seen that he's got a frigate and tank destroyer. I'm missing a secret agent on Norway City, so he might have put counter-ops there now and realised. But if we look at the communications we've intercepted between him and Ireland, Ireland says, me too, but look at his list, lol. Don't know what that means. And then the next one from Ireland, I'm awake. I just got done. It's Christmas blunt time. And then there's a note here saying we lost contact to one agent after he executed his mission from Oslo. That's me. Yeah, I've lost contact with an agent after he executed. So he might have been caught. But we've got loads of intel, and actually as a result, I'll show you what I'm doing. I've started building a level 5 army base so I can start pumping out some theatre defence systems, which I'm now researching. But also just about to do the 3rd level of armoured fighting vehicle upgrade, and I'm very keen, having looked at it all, to upgrade my mobile SAMs, because if we go all the way down the line to the end game, the max level up gives you 5.5 defence against missiles. So I think ultimately I'll probably have a mobile SAM, an anti-air in my movable stacks upgraded, and then theatre defence on maybe some of the key homeland cities, certainly the capital. Keen to get one in there as soon as possible, because we've got an awful lot of stuff in there, and if we did get surprise missile attack in there, we'd lose a lot of people for the whole coalition, so that's important. And then we found out something really important today, and it might not be something that anyone knows, because it wasn't really something that I was aware of, or I think it took us a while to work it out. So lost my 2 component cities, took them back. One's back to 1,000 production already, which is great, and production's not a disaster now. It's 123 an hour, and that's probably going to go up to like 150, 180 when we go past midnight. But the other city, it's 411, and I thought maybe because Tim took that, it hadn't reset to one of my favoured component cities, but it has. And we found out this. So it's because the population has been decimated down to 1.6. And so the best solution for that is to build a hospital. It literally tells you there, build military hospitals and improve local population morale to increase population growth. Well, local population morale around them is really good, really good. And so population's gone up by 0.1 already, and the building effect is going up by plus 2% for each 10% of the hospital I build. And so the local resource output was at minus 70% a few hours ago. It's now minus 67, and that's when I started building the hospital, minus 70. So it's having a fairly instant effect, and I'm building a hospital on the other city as well. And it actually shows you that if you build a hospital on all of your home cities at some point, it will expand the cap of your resource production. What do you think, Jonathan?
If you build a hospital on each one of your home cities, you get a set bonus? Is that what you're saying?
So if you look at my home city and then you hover over the population, what it shows is that the current rate of population growth is accelerated, and the building effect, the building's effect is plus 40% on that population growth, and that's the level 3 hospital, and also probably the bunker helps. And it says current effect on province, local resource output plus 11%. So I think increased population growth gives you an increased level of resource production.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I kind of read into, you can kind of look at the stats. Hospital definitely helps resource production. I think it is just directly linked to the population number.
Yeah, so that's kind of a relief, because I was feeling a bit bummed out when I thought, I hadn't the city hadn't come back properly. I even sent a message to the developers, but actually it is just because you guys worked out and WhatsApped me and said, look, we've noticed the population's really low. It's 1.6. The other cities at 4, and most of my other cities are at 7. So that's why the resource production's been really hit. So yeah, hospital first, then I'll go bunkers, then I'll do arms industries, because that's the least of my worries. But here I've got ships. I've been holding off an attack from Poland. Well, not necessarily an attack, but they're basically grabbing these cities that have ports, and I'm very suspicious that they're trying to get into a position where they can launch an attack against me. by the sea, so being very cautious. And I warned him off, and we had a little bit of a to and fro on the messages, and he's agreed to, back off a bit. And I'm putting some boats here at the entrance because he's going to go after Kiev and take it. And then I think he wanted his troops a bit closer to Norway as well. I think he's getting the message that they're after him and he needs to watch out. And so I've agreed to sort of hold off. But equally, I kind of need to hold off anyway and pause and just build the army, recover a little bit of my hit points there on my main stack, and just sort of sit on the city, let these get their morale up, take a bit of Yugoslavia, and just have a think about where we're going from here, because we're getting to a point where if I choose to now properly crack into Poland, they're going to give everything they've got against me and weaken me quite severely when I've already been weakened with my 2 component cities. So just need to pause and just see if they attack each other. And if Poland go to war against Norway and Ireland, then it's only going to help me, and then we'll know what our position is a lot better. In the meantime, what have you been up to in Tunisia, Jonathan?
Oh yeah, finishing off the rest of Algeria, really. I should be done there in a day, and then whatever troops survive, I'm going to send to Ankara to just heal for a bit, and then I'm going to move them on north of Transcaucasia. So keeping in mind, Norway may not be an immediate threat now, but he is already pushing down, and we can see he's getting close to Poltava, which is north of Crimea. And my plan is to push up to Volgograd, north of Transcaucasia, and then work down west to Rostov-on-Don, Donetsk and Kharkiv. But at this rate, I'm not sure how far I'm going to get. He does seem to be moving very quickly.
Just going for it now, isn't he? I think they've decided we could see an attack on Poland tonight.
He's also moving, like, if he can capture like Odessa and Donetsk and Rostov-on-Don, it's very bad news, because then he could just move troops across to Samsung in like a constant flow. But if we can kind of lock off a few of these cities, and it buys us a bit more time if he decides to invade you and Tim. So if we could just get a good foothold in Volgograd, I think that would put us in a much better stead. And ideally, we'd want to push up to Mogliev. It's a little bit hard to see, but the rivers really do like section off areas of the map for fighting. I
don't know if
we want to be.
I don't know if you've noticed, Jonathan, but the bubble city that Norway have taken near Poland, they've annexed it, and they've already got a level 3 army base on it, and also they've got a city on the river that ultimately leads down to the Black Sea above us. So we're getting in more and more danger now. They've got production on the mainland in Europe, basically, and so they can just pump them out from there instead of miles away in Norway. So they can get unit production out quite quickly now, and I think that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to build up a little army there. Maybe they've already got their army, and now that's just going to be reinforcing them. And like you say, they're going for Poltava, aren't they, to lock off the mouth of that river to protect themselves. But I will be waiting with my boats to see if I can get a sneak peek of their big stack, because if we know what their big stack's made of, then that'll be very interesting. So I'll get as close as I can. But I think they'll be taking Poltava by the morning, it looks. So I'll certainly be committing some resources over there. We've got to be careful of his missiles, because he might not be able to use them, but what I've got over there and what I'm sending over there with my ship is a frigate. And so what I've decided that I need to build is frigates and mobile air defence, more mobile air defence, and some theatre defence just so we're really covered and not surprised if he does go all at us with missiles. Frigates have 2.5 missile defense, and they've got the air envelope as well, so they can start hitting the missiles quite far out. But if I upgrade my frigates, they'll go to 3.5 defense against missiles on the next upgrade. So I'm going to do that. Upgrade my frigates when I can. I've got 2, and then I can have 2 stacks, a frigate and 2 destroyers. The frigate will defend the destroyers, and I can certainly move them to key areas to help defend troops as well, and have rally points should we need them. But like you say, they may not have any capability whatsoever yet. Just taking this city, and this city I'll take, and I'll just leave them to go rogue across the water, and keep an eye on Odessa, make sure no one takes them. And once he takes Kiev, I'm locking off the mouth of this river, but I don't know for how long. I'd imagine Norway will be sending their navy round into the Med at some point, and the UK, so I expect to get hit pretty hard by them probably quite soon as well. And we know that Norway has a naval commander as well, the naval officer. So are you thinking about your navy at all, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm starting to research destroyers. I was
Great.
thinking of being a bit more defensive at first, but now I think I just want to get in there.
Yeah.
And now I've captured Iran, on northwest Algeria. That'll be a good spot to sit some boats outside.
Yeah.
Be right next to across the water from Ireland. We'd at least be able to see if anyone moved boats through, and maybe it would be a good idea for me to get a mobile radar down there.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing some activity down in the south. Mozambique has got troops sitting on every one of his home cities, and he's got some strikes trolling just above the cities too.
Okay.
So, and the strikes weren't there yesterday when I first got eyes on. Yeah. So it's a little bit concerning, but I think he is just mostly being defensive and building up on his cities.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to keep an eye on that situation.
Well, they've got nowhere to go now, have they? There's no more land for them to take. And
there is.
Apart from Nigeria.
Like there's all of these countries to the northwest which Cameroon has just neglected to even touch. With absolutely no idea what he's doing.
Looks like. Looks like they're quite concerned about keeping their territories all in one place and not maybe spreading out all over the map, so they don't have to try and defend it. That might be their logic. Oh, and look, the Antarctic. So we've got Norway in the Western Antarctic, Brazil as well. Norway has half, Brazil has the other half of that island on the west. So I think Norway might clash against Brazil at some point. Got New Zealand down there as well, so that'll be a bit of an interesting battle zone. And I think Norway's at war with quite a few different people. If we look at their intel, Poland are at war with a huge number of people. Their morale will be difficult. We don't have the intel on who Norway are at war with. So hopefully I'll stick a bit more intel gathering on Norway tonight. I've got another.
Have a look at their profile. This is interesting. So he's at war with Belarus, Brazil, Russia, France, Ukraine, and Morocco.
Morocco.
And the Central and Western Antarctic colonies. So I'm wondering why he's at war with Brazil. I also saw that Poland had of way with Brazil, which doesn't really make any sense.
If you look. We do know, because he's down in the Western Antarctic colonies with Brazil. Brazil and Norway are down there fighting
so they've been scrapping down there.
Yeah. So we've got the option of doing a coalition morale attack on Norway by just all of us declaring war on him. And I don't think... Yeah, he's got absolutely no bunkers on any of his cities, so none at all. So they don't know but they'll lock off the war with Belarus because they've nearly taken them. They've been very careful to do that. It'll be a while before they lock it off with Russia because they're miles away. And then they've got this little bit of territory here. So, but I think we should wait until we declare war on Norway. It's inevitable because he's coming down onto mine and Tim's home cities and ultimately yours. So he's not far. And he's powerful
yeah.
as
Well,
well.
I'll be there before he can get through. I'm just like concerned about Morocco. I expect he might be declared war with them because islands might have done. I'll need to check up on that.
Okay.
That'll mean they're looking to push into Africa to greet me. That's a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
But if they're not looking to directly confront us, I wouldn't want to go to war with them because I feel like Brazil and Norway are going to be the big dogs. He's going to be focused on Poland for now. Then maybe they'll kind of duke out a little bit between them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the battleground for that may well be around the Spain-Morocco area. Got to be careful, really.
What, you think Norway and Brazil will go to war? Like actually try and crack into each other?
It's a possibility. They're scrapping over the Antarctic colonies. If they were to do that, it would be in Western Africa, I'd expect. I feel like the easy areas for us to take are kind of like moving north through Kazakhstan and into Siberia. It would take a while, but if we could get a good war going there, then we could push west into his home cities. I feel like moving through Europe is going to be especially tough, and we could get in the middle of quite a lot of crossfires. Italy's another option for something we could take. Or if we're confident we can hold the line, we can turn to another coalition before we fight them. It's a massive dilemma. We need to get Tim's thoughts on this.
We do. We'll have a chat with him. We'll have a think about it, build, and gather more intel, because you can kind of see that it's been a dilemma for me for a long time. I've always seen this coming. So, yeah, trying to hold a line across the middle of Europe is going to be impossible because the line will be very, very long. So I would suggest key incursion points would be, for example, Spain and, well, quite obviously where I am with Poland, and then, where you're going up through to meet Norway. So it's going to be across the entire Mediterranean and Black Sea, potentially. It's going to get messy. And then Tim, hopefully, will come back on himself and take Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and just sort of come up and round with any luck. But we'll have to get his thoughts, because he will be focused on New Zealand. They are progressing further and further, and they look like a strong player. Look, they've incurred into India, and so they're not that far. This is their land. They've taken the eastern coast of India.
Yeah.
And also, just to go back to Norway, they've actually annexed 2 cities, 2 bubbles.
I have no idea how he's done that with less than 30 cities.
I know, that would have taken massive resources, so that further makes me think he's using a little bit of golden help. But
oh yeah, look at this. Annex City, level 5 airbase, level 5 recruiting office, level 3 hospital. It's a bit sus, if you ask me.
Yeah.
A little bit sus.
Having 2 annex cities and the cost of that and all the resource he's got on the annex city, and also the strange sort of values of resources he's got that are, on virtually 0, that looks like he's had to sort of top up and just use gold to complete a transaction and go to max on everything. It's very... It builds a picture. So this will be an interesting game. But that's not going to put us off, and it certainly won't help him win the game. Well, it will, but he won't. So it'll be interesting to see what my component production goes up to tomorrow. Determined to get that back up and running, and we're gonna have some interesting times. I think very interesting times. Any last thoughts, Jonathan?
No, not really. We're just kind of stuck in the middle of anything, aren't we?
Stuck in the middle of you.
Yeah.
And you. And you.
Certainly a challenge. Fighting the world together.
It is. But these are the good times, and we'll remember them. So it's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Over and out.